something went on here, something went on there.
This time on TNT.
It's our Schools Out for Summer spectacular.
Whatever happened to RJ Logan?
And we compare notes on the ups and downs of live gigs. That's all coming up right now on TNT.
Hey.
Holy cow, it's a miracle.
It is. 43 miracles.
I've missed you, Bud, and I've missed the people that listen to the Taggart And Torrens podcast, and I've missed doing it.
Yes, me too. It's been like a hiatus of sorts, even though it wasn't. Even though it was only a week and a half.
More like an I hate us, because we weren't able to do a podcast.
That's great. That would be good for like the reasons why companies or bands have the hiatuses.
We were on hiatus. So first of all, let's apologize to the people and say thank you for your patience with us. Second of all, let's confess why we haven't been able to do a podcast. We've both been being torn in a bunch of different directions for several reasons, not the least of which is, hey, our kids are finished school for the year.
Yes, it's been very busy for good reason, but we just were a little bit overbooked for the last couple of weeks, and we found the time. And it's summer holidays starting tomorrow with my kids. And I really wanted to just get into the feeling. Like there's no better feeling. I still remember it like it's yesterday when you're done school. Just the openness and the freedom that you feel when you don't have anything to do tomorrow.
I don't think I ever learned anything in June. As soon as the windows in the classroom are open and you can smell the fresh cut grass, like you lost me. All I'm thinking about is like activity day and having class outside.
And there's nothing better than that last day when you're doing absolutely fuck all for the whole day, just sitting around in assemblies and hearing the reports of the year and just a few laughs and just getting off early, and everybody is just so amped.
Well, there are variations on that theme. Like some schools do your last day is like clean out your desk and some good-natured backslapping, but then you come back another half day to get your report card.
Yep.
Was that your deal?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I again as a kid moved around a lot, so there was a lot of I got most different scenarios. I went to public schools. I went to Catholic schools, so I got all the varieties of that last day feeling. And even though I was in a lot of new places, that summertime vibe, man, the best.
Oh, it's the best. Did you have to wear a uniform at Catholic school?
I never did. No, I was out in mostly bumping around South Simcoe, like Ontario, so, just north of Toronto area, like all those kind of places like Alliston and Mansfield and Cookstown and Barrie.
The Tri-City area, sure.
Elmville and Midland, and I was all over the place. I Ferguson Vale. I can go on and on. I think
Ferguson Vale is a place?
It's just a tiny town, one of those ones like if you're driving through and you know there's two signs within 60 feet and they're both like the hat welcome to.
I think you have to pick Vale or Sun. I don't think you can call it both.
Yeah.
Ferguson Vale.
Ferguson Vale. What if your name's Ferguson though?
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
Ferguson, Ontario.
I'm sure there's probably a few of those though.
I'd like to confess to you and to the people. I'm going to send you a picture of my home studio setup. The last episode we did, half of it I did in this, and someone suggested it sounded like I was in the restroom.
Yeah.
Really? I'm just trying to achieve the aesthetic of a snowbird flyover walkie-talkie chatter.
There's just a little reflection going on, not a big deal. We can hear your voice. It's just there's just a little reflection on the walls around you. We might have to get some sweaters for the walls.
Or maybe those, like, what's the egg carton foam stuff called?
Yeah, you could do that, but it's more about just realizing where the mic is and how it's hitting that. You got to treat this like a Steely Dan album, like you're Donald Fagen or something. Or
why? What did they do?
They would just close mic stuff, but be so cautious about room sounds not being evident. Everything was just so small. Not small, but like the only thing you heard was the instrument or the drum. You know, like a guitar amp. Like you didn't hear room. A lot of the times, on records like Asia and just some classic records, but just so close mic, but keeping
Steely
in mind.
Dan was Peg, right?
What's that?
Steely Dan was Peg.
Yeah, for sure. They were just very cautious of that, like quiet kind of. The only thing you hear is what's being played, as opposed to any action in the room, like a Levy Breaks drum sound by Jimmy Page, who engineered that stuff with Zeppelin. John Bonham rocking in, I think it was like a bathroom, or that's why they got that sound. Or I think it was like an open, I guess a lobby or something of where they were, just a huge roofed area, and that's why when the Levy Breaks has that huge room mic sound. So that's all it is. It's just looking where the room is that you're in, and if you clap your hands and hear any echo, then that's usually what the mic will pick up.
Yeah, there's echo here, bud.
Oh, you
I
did?
I get why you'd want the big room sound. Why would you ever want the small room sound, though? Because it feels really contained?
Well, yeah. It's
like,
just
what's
kind
the
of...
creative aesthetic that brings?
Well, I mean, if you think about early performances of anybody, like old Otis Redding albums, like Booker T and the MGs, it just had kind of like... You didn't really hear anything other than the instrument. There wasn't a lot of play with the room. Room sounds was kind of just like started to happen with a little experimentation, or if they couldn't get a closer sound with certain, especially drums. Like drums, in my mind, I don't mind a big room. It just kind of adds energy to the field. You just hear more stuff. I love room sounds. Like, I mean, I think like the White Stripes are a band that uses a lot of room on their recordings. There's always a huge amount, and that adds to the rawness and I guess what a lot of, like the Black Keys or something, their guitar sounds always add, there's just a lot of body to them. So it depends what you're going for, it depends. It's very cool to just know what you're trying to go after and capture that, as opposed to, meandering through the center of both.
You mean what I'm doing with my sound on the podcast? Meandering through it.
But you don't know, that's why.
I don't.
But we're learning. That's the whole point. Imagine episode 85 when you're talking about having something dialed in on stuff like this.
Oh, it'll be a dead room then.
Yeah, it'll be like corpse dead.
Especially now that all I know is I have to get some sweaters hanging in here. Really, all I've been thinking about is Ed O'Neill in his role from Married with Children singing Peg, like as Al Bundy. Oh, so, Peg.
Summertime. Remember Stand By Me is a good summertime movie.
Yeah.
Don't want to see a dead body? Like that whole purpose, the concept as a kid, like that's a big deal. I would definitely go for a walk just for the excitement of seeing, not that it's like I want to see a person who is croaked or anything, but just like, you want to see a dead body? It's like, really? There's a dead body there? Seriously? I want to see this.
I can't give too much of the story away, but last week, as you know, I was directing some Trailer Park Boys episodes.
Yeah.
And one of the scenes was kind of sunset-ish. 4 guys walking down a country road looking for something in a ditch, and they were backlit by the sun.
No way.
We were calling it the Stand By Me moment because it was that kind of beautiful magic hour where flies are like sunlit, flying through the frame, and dust is sunlit, and they have like sun halos around them. Just a beautiful time of day.
If those guys weren't bods, I don't know what are.
I know.
I mean, just the going through situational stuff.
There was Will Wheaton, who went on to Star Trek. Yeah. Who were the other bods in that movie?
Well, I don't know. River Phoenix was one of them.
Of course.
That kind of had a lot to do with the chemistry because he was such a great actor and a great presence.
He was so good.
Yeah, and I think that was pretty much everything for vibe. I mean, you had Chris that kid from My Secret Identity, right? Wasn't he the other kid, the chubby kid?
1986 was the year. Corey Feldman.
Yeah, Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Remember the kid that was in the Canadian show My Secret Identity? Corey, what's his name?
Vaguely.
He's like, he went from like, he was Chunk in the Goonies too, wasn't he? Or am I, oh no, that's a different kid.
Jerry O'Connell?
Jerry O'Connell, wasn't he in Stand By Me?
He was, as was Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes, but he was older though. He was like one of the tougher brothers, right?
Yeah. Jerry O'Connell. And then
Yes.
didn't he marry like Rebecca Romaine Stamos or someone like that?
Something like, I saw him on a golf course once playing with some other guys, and he was kind of like crushing darts and acting like classic actor guy, like real flaky in a sense. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? Crushing
Doesn't he have a
darts.
brother too who's either more or less famous than him?
Don't they all? But that
guess
movie,
so.
though, seriously, like that was a great flick. There was so many great things about Stand By Me, and I had. Did you have any summertime moments where it was like you life changing, like serious something happened? And I know I did when I was a little older, and it was a dead body.
No.
Yeah.
Charlie O'Connell is Jerry O'Connell's brother, by the way. Not to interrupt your story, because that's quite the headline.
Yeah.
Whose body?
I was living in Weston. I just moved to
Weston
Toronto for the first time from Barrie, 1989, I believe. So 14. Getting older, just to getting a handle on life, but in the big city for the first time. And it was hot, like a greasy apartment. It was actually a 1-bedroom apartment. Oh no, 2 bedrooms, but it was me and my 2 brothers, James and Jetson. My sister Jenny was living down the street already, had moved on and had a family of her own. So me and my 2 brothers in one room and my parents in the other, and then that's it, like a small apartment. Top floor, I think it was 4 or 5 floors, 3355 Weston Road, if you want to do the real dial in. It's greasy. And had that classic, like, Paradise Towers name, you know, I mean, they think the false, you know what I mean, in Toronto, and they have the name that's, like, supposed to be awesome, but,
so
like,
misleading. Because people from other countries could say, like, yeah, we got a place, it's at Paradise Towers, and we have our tickets booked. That's so greasy.
Yeah, they do it all the time. Anyway, so, like, yeah, there's a courtyard. But this courtyard is what took the whole my situation of life away. The changing moment. So my mom's doing laundry, and she goes down there, and she's very apt as a person. She has an understanding and energy and feeling quick. And she comes up, and we're sitting there, and she's like, "Smells like somebody fucking died down there."
It smells like that?
She says that. She's down to the laundry room, was on the first floor, and she's like, "Smells like someone fucking died down there." So, of course, me and Jet had to go down and
flying down the stairs.
Investigate. So we go down, and we go to the laundry room, and like as we're walking to the hall of the laundry room, we get this gasp of a smell, and it's just so intense, and we go closer, and it's like, it's nothing like I've ever smelt before and since, and it was just so like intense and just gross and terrible, and so we went back, and it actually that apartment was the exact apartment Jenny, my sister, was living in before she moved out.
No.
Yes. The first floor apartment right beside the laundry room at this 3355. So we go back upstairs, and it's just like, yeah, man, I don't know what that is, but it is horrendous and gross. And apparently this cat, RJ Logan was his name, died for like a better part of a week and a half.
Wow.
On the couch. And I just remember the RJ Logan because the beepers at the beginning at the opening of when you first open the door in the lobby of everyone that lives there. Because it was so intense. And of course, I remember old RJ Logan on the name, and that was he was just a single guy that lived in there, and he wasn't found in a couple of weeks. RJ, and. So I don't know if my mom called 911 or somebody eventually called an ambulance in the building. I'm sure people were all getting stirred at this point, and an ambulance came, and they came in there, and everyone's in the courtyard from their balconies looking down, and they're taking him in the thing, and he's you can tell that. It just the smell was intense, and the guy was clearly dead because of the position of the stuff with the everything over top of him was just really awkward. You know what I mean, with the rigor mortis.
You can tell under the sheet he was bent.
Yes. And then just as he's going down because there was 2 sets of stairs to the ambulance. As they're going down the stairs, there's a couple and it was brutal pavement job, so there's some cracks, so they kind of rustle, and he kind of almost comes off.
Oh my god!
Almost comes off it, but then the sheets move, and it's you see him, all his face all gray. Yeah, man, everyone is all it was one of those moments.
So you had a high-angle shot of RJ from your balcony?
Yeah, man.
And his frozen rigor mortis face? Oh my gosh, that's so traumatizing.
Oh yeah, man, the smell, and just and then knowing what it was, and then seeing that, and there he is, and just unbelievable, man, just unbelievable. That was and it was really hot. It was really pretty much around this time of year.
Burma. 107
summer
degrees.
holidays. I just got off summer holidays. It was cooking, and we didn't have air conditioning, so it was a god awful, horrible smell. They had to repaint and redo all the floors, and they got rid of everything in there because of it.
I have so many questions. The first is, did he die of natural causes?
Yeah, I think
he just had a heart attack or something.
Something like that, yeah, on the couch.
And so
the couch that he was on was in the lobby up on its side for a month.
Come on,
man! What?
That's the worst detail.
Instead of throwing it out, it's in the lobby,
free to a good home.
Side, up, all up.
Ah. So
Just
if left unattended, the human body will start to smell after a week in intense heat. That's your scientific conclusion.
Yeah, man.
Because I have a family member who's a cop, and I know that, when there's a lot of blood at a crime scene, for example, the smell is so sickly sweet that it makes you vomit. But I wonder what the smell is of just a body that's kind of, I guess, would it be starting to decompose?
Yeah.
Crazy. But you can still tell it was RJ's face?
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. No, I guess the body releases all what's inside of you after 2 days or something like that. So that's also the big issue, is the contents of the body being everywhere.
So RJ's Hungry Man dinner
Holy
was
boats.
Also on the couch. Oh dear. Oh my god.
The turkey.
His Hungry Man special
turkey dinner.
Cream corn or corn niblets.
No, it's the what's the one, the classic, with the hot hamburger.
His hot hamburger sandwich.
It's just two patties of burgers with gravy on them.
And some sour cream and bacon chips. It's not funny, but it is scientifically interesting. Oh, looks like you had some Cheerios, bud. Looks like you had breakfast for supper.
Everything. I think at that point, there's no, like, that's what it was. It's more like this. That's just black and, like, hellish.
Poor RJ. And did he have, like, next of kin?
Oh, wait a second. Oh, man. The other thing is when they took him away, and we went down into back to the laundry room, and there was, like,
he had a load in the dryer?
No, in the garbage of the laundry. It's like, what stinks still in here? There's a pair of gloves, and they're all wet from RJ-ness. Like rubber gloves that they were like...
The entire case was bungled. I want to talk to the property management firm. I want to talk to the authorities. I want to talk to the paramedics.
Super, super thick, expensive rubber gloves, and they're like, these are fucking going in the garbage.
Covered in sebum. Oh my gosh. Paradise Towers. Was there like a Schneidery kind of landlord, handyman?
No, like I didn't have any issue with the people there whatsoever. Like there was just some tough times, man. I remember days there that was so hot. My dad would get so fucking mad. He'd just sit in a rage because it was just cooking. Yeah, just
angry heat.
Just like, what's the point of living if you're just gonna come home after a long day's work to just a burning hot room?
I get it, man, and especially when there's no relief at night, like it doesn't cool down at night.
Yeah, working at Sears. Makes you furious. Yeah, I know. Good stuff. Hey, let's take a break. That was the RJ Logan story. For
RJ Logan, this episode's for you, bud.
Let's take a break.
Would you like some egg and beans? Fuck off! You're not my mom!
And we're back on Summer Holidays on episode 43.
I love that our Summer Holiday Spectacular, what started as a, hey, remember Fresh Cut Grass? Became 17 minutes about RJ Logan's deserted, deceased body. But when you're a kid, that just is. It's not weird. It just is what happened.
Do you remember just like all of a sudden just you got nothing to do? Like I remember living in Barrie and I just you start hanging out with the same people every day that are doing nothing. Like just, did you ever have like any weird friendships? Like, cause I moved around a lot. So I would like have the odd ridiculous, like who the hell is this person?
Well, I remember having cottage friends, and they were, like, you wouldn't be seen with them at your regular house, but, like, all right, you're my summer friends. We'll roll together while we're at the cottage. We used to hit golf balls off the cliff at our cottage in PEI and then collect them because the tide would bring them in the next day. And we would also, one of the things that for some reason really blew my mind as a kid is we used to catch crabs, and often... crabs would have like a dime tucked under their stomach or something because they're attracted to shiny things on the ocean floor and they pick them up. Yeah. But they have that weird little like kangaroo pouch where they carry stuff around. It's pretty wild.
I remember in Barrie I had this like one like summer, and I remember it distinctly because they played on CKVR. They played like a Batman marathon. Like the day summer holidays started, old Batman episode, so it just kind of felt like that marked it for me because Batman was on for like 2 days.
So you always associate Batman with summer holiday?
Oh, for a while, because I think they did it yearly. It was a good move. It's a great move if you do something like that.
Today,
on TV.
My
they
kid
don't do
graduated,
that anymore with TV.
My kid graduated from the 4-year-old program at our French immersion school. And they had taken a bunch of popular songs like I Love Rock and Roll and rewritten the lyrics. So they all performed like Français, s'il vous plaît, à la maison et à l'école. It's pretty cute.
Yeah.
But I don't think we had graduation ceremonies from kindergarten, did we? I feel like there's a lot more ceremony now than there ever was when we were kids.
Yeah, I think for sure, because the kids like to celebrate the year. I remember, like, my daughter's in junior kindergarten, her first year of school, and they had a little celebration, but she was, like, crying. Like,
because she didn't want to go, or she was sad that it was over?
She's, like, thinking she's not going to see anybody anymore just because of the sentiment of, like, the music, and, like, it's, like, it was a great year. She's, like, thinking everybody's leaving or something, so she starts breaking down, which is crazy.
But she's going back in the fall, right?
Oh, yeah, it'll be mostly the same kids, too, so it's just hilarious, the concept of just getting upset. But, you know, you're going your first time of understanding of, like, oh, I'm losing something, you know what I mean? It's over. So kids get a little bit choked up.
Well, it's funny how kids force you into these situations that you never imagined yourself doing. Like, our 5-year-old's playing under 6 soccer. So we're those people going to soccer every week now.
Yep, me too.
And she was playing and running around and chasing after the ball and stuff, and then suddenly she stops and she's standing beside a girl on the other team, and I'm like, what are they doing? They're holding hands. They were just holding
hanging.
Hands, yep.
Chilling out. Good move. New buds.
Cold chilling.
I remember that time in Barrie, like, all of a sudden I was hanging out at Kempenfelt Beach there, Kempenfelt Bay. And I would go there every single day with my brother Jet. He was working at the time. He was working at the Ferndale Comet. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, sure.
He was working at the gas station. Those were those days. And there was this kid who kind of would hang out with us every day. And, like, he lived in, like in an abandoned building downtown with some girl that he met. And they were our age, like 15, 14, or no, like 12 or 13 years old. Like, they were both kind of like runaways or something, but they lived in this, like, weird place above a building, and I don't know how he coerced her into living there with him.
And
but,
was
like,
that cool?
It wasn't cool, like, but they were nice people, but they were totally kind of like Oliver styles.
Crazy.
In Barrie. But we were hanging out every day, and I don't know what the hell they were doing, like picking pockets, doing whatever they needed to do to get through the day.
Selling newspapers on the corner.
Yeah, they got like
probably
3
chimney
weeks.
Sweeps.
Well, yeah, we would just go like swimming every day and whatever else, but he'd like leave, and I'm sure he was like, I think he was getting banged up already at that point, and he got her pregnant a couple weeks in, so then that became a whole other thing, and they were so into each other, they wanted to keep things going. So, like, I don't know, I guess he had to take a job, but it was just so weird to randomly run into like a Huckleberry Finn type character. You know what I mean?
And was he a sharp cat?
Yeah. He was just, like, totally on his own, and then found a girl similar.
Crazy. I liked going to the store as a kid. Like, did you ever get a few bucks and you could go to the store?
Oh,
trying to budget your money at the store?
Or stealing from the guy who sold corn on the side of the road to get money to go to the store, like I did with Jet.
Did you really? Like an honesty bucket?
This old man, and he was like 90. Remember Gus and Leave It to Beaver, the fireman?
Sure.
He was like that. Like, we'd go hang out and just talk to him and he would tell us stories, and he sold corn at the side of the road in Mansfield. And my brother, like, he was so out of it that, like, he'd be crushing coffee from a thermos and there was like 3 flies in it and he would never notice. You know what I mean? So, and he kept like piles of cash in this freezer across the room. So Jet would like keep him going with a story, and I'd like slowly inch back towards the cooler thing, the freezer, and then like reach my hand in there and like steal like $5 or something.
And he'd never notice.
Well, no, after a couple weeks he did notice, and he started coming around the neighborhood like, "One of you son of a bitches stole my money!" Every kid in the neighborhood. And we ended up somehow coercing the older kids that they did it. So it was stupid stuff, but like getting into trouble with the Poor old Bob.
You were like Oliver.
Yeah, I think so.
We were like not allowed to come in until the streetlights came on.
Yeah, and I was just, and we were going to the general store and like buying all this stuff, and they're going like, "How are you guys paying for this?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's my birthday. It's got a bunch of money from my aunt."
Did you
Loading
shake
up
out
on-
the birthday cards every time you got them to see what kind of paper was in there?
Yeah, but there was never much in them. We never like that. There was no, not too much.
I know we had dollar bills, yo.
My grandma would crush some cash in there once in a while. Yeah, dollar bills.
Yeah,
Did
before
you
the
have a
loony
good
and the toonie, we'd get some dollar bills or a 2-spot.
Did you have the any like go-to family member where you're like guaranteed you're gonna get some fat paper from?
Well, we were a blended family, which kind of worked in my favor because my dad's ex's parents would always deal me in, which was really progressive.
Nice.
Like, they'd always give me some cash at birthdays and Christmas and stuff. And in fact, this mythical money was how later in life I was going to pay for everything. Like, we want to get a swimming pool. How are we going to pay for that? Well, the Cheel money. Because the Cheels were always pretty good about counting us folks who were kind of fringe family in.
PEI's got some awesome summers, eh?
Unbelievable. I
Did you used to do the
t-shirts.
bonfire? Did you do like the bonfires or the like what kind of
Totally.
summers?
I was on Street Sense when I was 15,
Yeah.
but it was a pretty short season. So for 2 summers, I sold T-shirts on the boardwalk in Cavendish and PEI by day, and by night
Nice.
I hosted karaoke in Thirsty's Roadhouse.
Classic.
And like, here's Tina and Devin. They're gonna do "Summer Lovin'" from the Grease soundtrack. Everyone, it was like hitting the post karaoke styles. But I loved it. I lived in a stolen ice cream shack. There was, because accommodations were hard to come by for like seasonal workers who were kids and not that fussy. So unless you had one of the swank jobs like working for parks, National Parks of Canada,
Yeah.
they had the like sick cottages that 4 of them could live in together, and they had big parties and stuff. The rest of us had to just kind of find a cot somewhere. So
Yeah.
this motel called the Seaside Motel had a stolen ice cream shack, and they rented 3 cots in the ice cream shack, and our living room window opened up like the front of an ice cream shack. And I think we paid $600 a month each. Some astronomical amount, because you were really kind of stuck. But a lot of people ended up living in school buses at the Sunset Campground.
Wow. Yeah, that's greasy.
But unbelievable place to spend the summer. The water's warm and the sand is white and the food is good and the people are nice. Just the pace of life there is incredible.
How's summers in your area? Must
Pretty
be
good,
nice.
man. Pretty low key.
Yeah?
We just had a big June Bug Fest.
June Bug Fest.
Yeah. Like, it's not a recognized festival, but I mean, do you have those guys like they're the size of a cigar butt
Oh yeah.
hitting the
They're
window?
like flying Audis.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And they
They like
don't
to
really
party.
do anything.
Can you swim in your lake?
Yep.
Have you been in yet?
No, I'm not a big swimmer in the lake.
Why are there
yeah,
gross
there's-
things in there?
No, it's just you kind of got to get out on a canoe and then jump in and then come out. But I mean, there's better lakes that are in the area that are less houses around them, so it's more clean in a way.
Oh, I
And,
see. Like, is there the possibility that there's waste in that lake?
Well, I don't think it's because the beach isn't opened at the moment. Right now, they're doing a big development, so they're not testing the water like they normally do. So
Right.
I don't want to take any chances. There's literally like 2 or 3 lakes within 10 minutes from here that are like zero. They're not developed whatsoever, so you can go jump in them like it's Andia Mayberry styles.
That's
And
so
it's
great.
interesting because I'm in North Richmond Hill, so people wouldn't think that that's available 25 minutes from downtown Toronto, but it is if you know.
What's the hamburger place that all the people stop at when they're going to the cottage to get banged up?
Oh, Weber's.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always the lineup across the bridge. And that's it. It's just because it's the only thing going, and they make fresh burgers that are, I guess they don't taste too bad, and people crush them.
I don't think in this consumer climate, though, you should have to line up for anything.
Oh, I don't know if they line up. It's just they kind of... I've seen, like, when traffic is ridiculous, that's the other thing. Like, if you're sick and tired of sitting in traffic, you just get off to take a break there.
Right.
And by virtue of mad traffic and people going to the cottage, they just rather sit in a line standing as opposed to their car for at least an hour, But that's only peak times during the summer, but it's usually pretty busy.
Is Weber's even open during the winter?
I doubt it. I don't think so.
But we have so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we do, actually.
I want to talk about the book, which is incredible. We haven't done a podcast since we started doing Thursday nights on News Talk, or have we? Maybe we've done one.
I think we've maybe done one, but still, I mean, that's been a gas.
So we're writing a book.
Yeah.
About Canadianity.
Canadianity, the book.
Really exciting.
Yes, we can't wait to get started, and we're going to try and keep it under wraps, the idea of what's going into it, but there'll be a lot of stuff that we've talked about on the podcast and things that we celebrate, and just a glimpse into what it is for us and what we think is to being Canadian, and the beauty of it, and the humor of it, and the I guess the wonder of it in a way.
And it's for hopefully fall of 2016 release.
Yes.
But just so enormously flattering and humbling that folks in the book publishing industry seem to think there is a story here.
The wonderful people at HarperCollins.
Yeah. It's so awesome. Like, that's a legit outfit, too.
Oh, yeah, bud.
And it's because buds are into Canadianity, and we want to share it with the people.
Yes.
But we're going to have to start wearing turtlenecks and smoking pipes.
Yeah, right? We got to go through our Pierre Berton phase.
We're going to have to get thick whale cords and go on a book tour with our legs crossed.
And just talk about how politics have gone astray.
What was the advantage to thick whale cords? Did you rock cords?
Oh, for sure. I remember like the thick ones too, and like that just being, I was a big fan of corduroy pants back in the day.
So when you say back in the day, when do you mean? Because in my late 20s,
well, up until the last pair that I wore out, which was probably a couple years ago.
Yeah,
I'd still wear them if I had them. Good pair of cords. Can't go wrong, Bob.
Never heard of Fala?
Never hurt you.
So the book is exciting. The Thursday night show on News Talk has been really kind of interesting because tonally it's a little different than the podcast.
Yes.
But it's fun to do something that's live. It's fun to take calls and all of those things.
Mm-hmm. It's more topical in a sense. It's more talking about things that are going on. Whereas on our podcast, we can just kind of sit back and have a few laughs about whatever we like.
Like, we're probably not talking about R.J. Logan on News Talk.
Yeah, no. That would be more of a synopsis that would have to happen and wrap it up in 45 seconds.
So you've been doing the morning show on TSN and the afternoon drive sometimes and News Talk stuff?
Yeah, I've been hustling. I've been running all over town, doing a lot of driving. I'm in traffic a lot these days, which is kind of annoying, but I've been enjoying talking about sports and just getting a little more. I mean, it's fun to have to watch sports. Like, that's something that why I started doing talk radio in sports was because I just love sports, and I would, love to be. I love the idea of just, doing it in the daytime, and you kind of have to keep your eye on it to keep up on it because it's I mean, the purity and the performance of sport is something I've always liked and loved to do, and it's not something that you get a chance to when you're doing other things. So to blend them with work is great. So I've been enjoying the people at 1050. I've been working with Josh Lewinberg this week, who's an amazing. He covers the Raptors for TSN. He's a great talent. I've been working with Mike Hogan, who's an encyclopedia of sports, and did some stuff with Jonas Siegel, and he's a brilliant hockey reporter for the Leafs and TSN. So it's great there's great people involved, and it's fun to do that, and you're kind of thinking on your feet on a little bit of a different level, but it's still
good
really
to work out
exciting.
in that gym.
Yeah, and it's obviously 1010 is great too. I've been doing a lot of stuff with Ryan Doyle, the live drive, and he's fun to work with as well. It's just that's just a little closer to what we do on TNT, where it's just kind of what's happening today, and let's talk about it.
I think that's why I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed directing Trailer Park, but I think it's because I know the characters really well, A, and B, it's good to do things that are a little bit outside your comfort zone and keep you on your toes. Like, I've been on camera for a long time, and it's not that I don't still enjoy that, but it's fun to do things that I never imagined I would do, or things I didn't see coming. That's why I'm really excited about the book. But man, there's a lot of things to do in this life.
I know.
It's hard to do them all.
Planning our tour dates that are coming towards the end of this year as well.
Because we really want to make it out across the country and meet as many buds as we can. Here's what I was thinking, and it might be crazy, but for our 50th episode, we should have a contest, like starting now. Why should we come do our 50th episode at your place? And then we choose a winner, and we go do our 50th episode spectacular from a bud's house.
That's pretty good.
It's not crazy, is it? I mean, it is crazy, but in a great way.
Whatever week works out, let's not, because 50's coming right up.
I know.
So we got to be careful on that.
Oh, you're worried about saying...
I'm all for it, but let's. We still have to solidify the tour to know when it's happening.
It's true.
And
but we need a name.
We might be into like 65 or 60s or something at that point, because if it's closer to the end of the year, I mean we're already at 43, bud.
I know, but I was thinking we actually just do one special episode from one special bud's house.
For sure, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
That's a great idea.
So we should come up with a hashtag that the people can send their suggestions in. Right? Like Bodfest or...
The Bud's House.
Yeah. Bud's House is good. Or come on over, Buds.
Yeah, the Bodfest. Yeah. Bod's House. We'll talk about it.
But I love the
how
idea.
We have our powwows on the show.
Yeah.
We're having spitball politicking.
We're having our spitball meeting on the show.
Like when I heard Conan O'Brien yelling at his staff.
Was he?
Spitball writers.
He wasn't yelling at them, was he?
Yeah, the show was over and he was upstairs giving it to them. Not in like a bad way, just saying like this was what's going on here? Why was this totally not funny whatsoever?
Oh, you actually heard it?
Yeah.
Gosh dang, is nobody nice?
It's not about that. It's like imagine you had 12 writers and you're feeling like 6 of them aren't doing their job correctly. You gotta be stern at some point.
I guess.
Right? You gotta. Like it's the same with those like old Buddy Rich tapes when he's yelling at his band. I don't feel like he's being an asshole. I just feel like he's sick and tired of these guys thinking that they're great and they're not. You know? That he's dealing with a bunch of collegiate kids that think they're Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker and Thelonious Monk, but they're not even close. And he's like, I'm Buddy Rich. Let's not forget that. And you're totally just 21-year-olds in an era of music that's been over for 30 years, and that's why they're not seasoned veterans, is because there was not that, like, the pool of talent wasn't there, so he has to pick young guys that can't really play as well, but they have the same ego, so he's ripping on them, and the guy's recording it. But, like, to me, it's just like, yeah, if a guy's stinking it up and then chapping and chirping about how great he is, I'd be mad too.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
The cocktail of underqualified and overconfident is the worst.
Yes.
And they often go hand in hand, because usually the people that are good or comfortable in their own skin don't feel the need to do that.
Yeah. Exactly. But imagine you were huge in the 40s and 50s, and then saw the death of your genre in the 60s, and then it's the 80s and mid 80s, and your band is a bunch of punk kids, and they think that they think that they're playing with they are playing with a legend, and they think that they're buying into it, and that's why he's picking them, is because it's like, it's just ridiculous, and it makes perfect sense that he'd be raging all the time.
Bunch of piss ants.
Yeah. Piss ants.
Let's take a break on TNT.
Come back, will ya?
And we're back, and it's 43 times.
And it's my second show in my home studio. Speaking of playing in a big room, the Miniature Ponies, we had our third gig ever on Saturday night. And it was a fundraiser for our local community center where my daughters have gone to preschool. We need to make it wheelchair accessible, so they're building a ramp and stuff. So silent auction and some bands played. So we opened, Miniature Ponies opened, and it's a horse of a different color playing in a room that size, because it was a junior high school gym. I mean, I'm saying this to a guy who's played the Air Canada Centre, but for us, we've played 2 gigs in a small, cozy bar.
No, there is a difference.
It changes things. But
was there people? Lots of people too?
Few hundred.
See, that's the thing too. That's a big deal.
Our big challenge has been getting everybody together, because everybody's so busy working on different films and stuff.
Yeah.
And, a lot of our rehearsals, like, wait, how does this song end again? I don't even remember.
Yeah, totally, for sure.
Like, but when you're there and there are a few hundred folks watching and it's going okay, that stuff feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially on some of that old country stuff, folks are out two-stepping and...
what kind of jams did you do on this one?
Well, our set list is getting a little longer, but we started it off with an a cappella version of Thank God I'm a Country Boy.
Nice.
That was good.
Yeah.
And, we did Mountain Music by Alabama, like stuff like that.
That's so classic.
Like classic.
Do you guys do any Conway Twitty?
Yeah, we do Tight Fitting Jeans. That's my wife's favorite song. We did Thank God I'm a Country Boy right into Tight Fitting Jeans. Because we wanted to bring the thunder right out of the gate, and Tight Fitting Jeans is a great rump shaker.
It always gets everybody going, right?
It was the some friends of mine were there who had been at the fishing hole all day having a few drinks. Or ladies.
Oh,
but the Mother Hunters, I think I've told you about them. And when Tight Fitting Jeans came on, they had a drink raised over their head that skipped to the dance floor, like with the drink over the head. That's when you know folks are into it.
Oh, man, that's great.
And everybody got banged up because there hasn't been much entertainment here in our little neck of the woods in a long time.
Isn't that awesome, though? Isn't that, like, talk about, making a great evening out of not a lot of effort, but just having a great time.
Yeah.
And all those people, a few hundred people, that's great.
It was a summer's eve party because it was the, official last night of spring, and this winter was such a donkey fister that I think people were just ready. I'm not super spiritual, but sometimes, the juju's just off, it's not happening. But the guys came down in the afternoon, we rehearsed, we had a barbecue that was like a Sobeys picnic, Sobeys commercial, corn and meat, and then we went to the gig, and people were happy to be there, and people were just the right amount banged up, but not too banged up. It was real fun.
So, quality day.
It was a quality day. Quality summer's eve.
And it was nice and warm, too.
Yeah, taco truck
Wet.
outside. People were pounding food.
Nice. Just coating the gut so you can get right into things at 2 times.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the late night rip again and
So the
fire
liquor
some
has
more
a place
tacos.
to go, yeah.
That's a good move.
So sound-wise, just because I'm a student of the craft, when you're playing drums and hearing it back, how does that not confuse you?
Like the slap of the room?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have to kind of make sure your monitor mix is sorted so you can hear yourself. That's why I can't believe how the Beatles even played places like Shea Stadium with no monitors. Like, they didn't have monitors back then. So they're just playing on stage with their gear right there. And it actually shows how great a live band that they were, that you can actually assemble the songs at some level. Because they were just working with screaming, yelling people and just barely hearing each other and playing the song.
So what are they doing? Watching each other? Like, is Ringo lip syncing or lip reading?
At that point, they were so rehearsed. Like, they had done the Berlin and the Germany, the Hamburg days when they were on the Reeperbahn playing every single day, like 7 days a week, like 2 shows a day. They were so good that they could do that. That was only a couple years later. They were a great live band, and they, at that point, never stopped playing. So they were always really solid. So that's totally by virtue of them being great to play together and not screw it up, because they were the only ones doing that. Nobody else was that big to even go into a room to do that. And they, obviously they broke the wall down for other bands to do it. But I mean, it wasn't long after that before they started to get sound happening, and even at least a PA where you could hear them. Like, back then they were just running through the speakers from the ball games.
Crazy.
Like, they didn't have a PA.
What was the worst thing that ever happened to you technically? Like, did your monitor ever go out during the show, or?
Oh yeah, tons of lights going off, the whole everything turning off, in the whole place, and having to just play a drum solo to keep 10 minutes going. I remember we played in, I think it was New York City, at the Bowery Ballroom, I believe, and I think Space Hog opened. It was like just before they'd come out, and Adam Clayton and Larry Mullen came to the show.
Wow.
It was like one of those kind of crazy nights. And we were playing the set, and all of a sudden, like, the fire alarm goes off. And there's nothing, no sound or anything. All the amps and everything the electricity, they're not allowed to go or whatever. So I just kept playing and maintained some kind of a semblance of feel for like 4 minutes, and then we got back into a song. But just moments where you have to kind of maintain. The drums are the only thing that works if anything goes off. So you just have to kind of think in the moment, and thank God drums are fun to mess around with in that capacity.
That's so
happened
crazy.
A few times. Yeah. I think in London one time it happened, where it's like a outdoor festival, so like 15,000 people, and then just no PA for 10 minutes.
How long did it take before people started booing?
It's fine. People dig it because you can hear drums. If everything stops, you can still hear drums. So people dig it. There's something cool about drums. I mean, think about back in the day, that was all people did on boats for war or for, troops. They had lines of drums because they carried for miles, right? Just the sound.
But I also think when you're seeing a live event and something goes not according to plan, that's thrilling. Because you think you're getting a unique experience and a story.
Yeah, the band thinks it's hellish, but the audience, if you think about it, it's something. At least it's something. And I remember getting hit in the head one time with a bottle, like a full bottle of, like a Pepsi bottle or something, and it like shattered my in-ear monitor and knocked me off my drums. That wasn't cool.
Like full bottle of beer?
No, it was like a plastic, like a 500 milliliter Pepsi, or a Coke bottle or whatever, like the plastic kind.
Ouch.
but it was full. So I was like, and I didn't have a clue that it was coming, and it was a outdoor festival, so like 20,000 people, and I didn't know where. I just all of a sudden a bottle flies out of nowhere and smashes me in the head, and knocked me off my drums. I had to like stop and get back into the song, but it was that was more of a technical difficulty due to asshole.
What goes through someone's head that they think, it'd be funny? I'm going to throw that Pepsi bottle at that dude.
It happens. Remember Chad Kroeger got hit with the shoe?
No.
That famous YouTube video? It's kind of funny. I mean, it's like, I'm sure, like, some festivals, that's just happening no matter who you are all the time. There's just always an arsehole in the crowd firing stuff, so you just have to keep your head up. But when it happened to Nickelback that time, it was really funny. I think because the reaction that he got really upset about it and left. Like, that's it.
He left the stage?
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Did you ever leave the stage in your career?
No.
In anger?
No. One time I didn't make it for a little while because I was lost from having a piss.
I remember that story. Did you see, in the last week, a video is circulating about a guy who's crowd surfing and catches a beer?
No way.
Did you see it?
No.
Someone threw a cup full of draft, like one of those plastic clear cups with no lid on it, full of draft or beer.
Yeah.
Like Dr. J Skyhook styles.
Mm-hmm.
And the singer sees it at the last minute and catches it. And I think, I'm going from memory, but I think it spills a little bit, but most of it's still there. And then
Nice.
There's another video going around where two guys tested it, like just the physics involved, because it was probably, 40 feet, 50 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't make it work for the life of them. If you have a few seconds, it's worth watching because it's,
Who is it?
I don't know. Some guy
Some
from some
band.
band, yeah.
Guy catches beer.
Yeah, you might know them.
Singer. Buck Cherry. I figure he probably handles a beer pretty good.
Marcy's Playground? No. Who was it?
No.
What was Marcy's Playground? Sex and Candy? Was that them?
Yeah. That's them.
I smell sex and candy.
That's a way back.
Mm-hmm.
Way back. And then the next single was?
Don't know.
That's right.
That's what it was?
No, I'm just saying it was one of those kind of things.
Oh, one of those bands.
Yeah.
I
I liked that song, I guess.
There was like your Soundgardenses and your Systems of a Downses and your Marcy's Playgroundses. Like, I kind of lump all those into the same era.
But those are like so different, all those, and the System of a Down's a little later, I would say.
Would
10
you?
years. Yeah. They're more like 2000s, early 2000s, and that Sex and Candy was a little more early to mid 90s.
Oh, it's
Soundgarden,
really? I'm off by
obviously,
that much.
Soundgarden's like from the late 80s to the mid 90s. I think they broke up in 95.
Huh.
But yeah, it's all right. It's close enough.
Who's the most overrated band in the history of music?
Limp Bizkit's up there,
Wow.
right?
Behind Blue Eyes? Remember that?
Yeah, seriously, like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's like more easy to say. Yeah, they suck. That's okay. No one's gonna say anything bad about that.
Did you ever play with those guys?
Yeah, a couple, not like festivals and stuff. Even Woodstock, they were at Woodstock. They were a big deal. That was they probably had part and parcel with why the idiots were starting fires.
I wonder if they smelled Sex and
mentality.
Candy.
They had that song "Break Stuff."
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
And didn't he have intimate relations with somebody in a video?
Like Larry from Three's Company styles?
Yeah.
Richard Klein?
Yeah. No, didn't
School of Acting?
wasn't there a Fred Durst sex tape?
No, was
Yes,
there?
I feel like there was.
Come on, no way, really? That would be classic.
Like maybe with Paris Hilton? Am I rewriting history?
I don't know.
Or does 90s me just want that to be the case so badly?
It's pretty lame sex tape. I wouldn't watch it.
Who's on your bucket list of bands that you'd still like to see?
I still like a good concert from anybody.
Really?
I like bands that I like bucket list that I haven't seen
Yeah.
that are dead.
Yeah.
That aren't around.
No, it can be anybody. They can be alive,
Well,
but you
it
haven't seen them.
Huh?
They can be alive, but you just haven't seen them.
Well, I mean, there's always, if you're going bucket list for dead people, there's always old. I would go to old stuff. Like I would have loved to have seen the Derek and the Dominoes at the Fillmore in 1971, but that's not going to happen.
All right, so alive.
Alive, okay. Even though most of those guys are alive, it's more about them being ones incarcerated. Who, I don't know. I would, I'd like to see, there's a lot of, like, new bands that I like.
Like One Direction and stuff?
Yeah, I like that. The one guy left, that's a sad situation. I don't know if I'll be able to see them again because of Zayn being gone.
How do you know that? Your kid?
No, it's just very big news and upsetting.
No, I'm Zayn.
Don't you miss him? Do you miss Zayn?
I don't really know from the One Direction, but I know that the Dixie Chicks are on my list, and I know that you're
Really?
gonna chirp me for that. Yeah,
I don't know about the Dixie
they're
Chicks.
touring this summer. They're heavy players, man, and they can sing.
No, I know. I'm sure you could enjoy that. That'd be fun. I'm not saying it's not a good move. They're talented people.
I had tickets for here's your easy listening light rock nightmare. I had tickets for CMT does Crossroads, right, where they take a country act and Scotch tape another act, and they do each other's tunes. I had tickets for James Taylor and the Dixie Chicks, and for me, like that's my wheelhouse, not yours. But
yeah, that's my hammock.
That's your nightmare.
No, I could probably have a little sleep to James Taylor.
How are we gonna cross the country together if I'm like, hey bud, why don't you bump up the Lightfoot?
Because then I'm sure we can find common ground with Lightfoot.
I guess Lightfoot's common ground.
Yeah, we'll find common ground. I just won't, you want to fire and rain me, I'm going to probably hit the Saxy.
Right.
I've seen fire.
Can we listen to Haywire?
What?
Can we listen to Haywire? From PEI?
We would have to be partying to be listening to Haywire.
Sure. So, in your mind's eye, are we crossing the country like in a van?
I think we're doing little planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
As we should.
Yeah. Because we'll get there and we'll figure it out depending on the province. I like the idea of like on the way stopping at some greasy motel and doing a podcast.
Me too.
Or you know what I mean? Like or maybe a live podcast at some greasy bar.
Well,
Just
we have
us.
to do an okay guys, decolle guys. Like Quebec roadside motel podcast. Wouldn't that be amazing? Especially if bots from New Brunswick and bots from Montreal drive down.
Yeah.
Like just rent out the whole motel.
Yeah, for sure. That's totally crazy. But I mean like more like on the way as we're going, more intimate. Like no one knows we're doing it.
For sure.
Like the Palomino in Winnipeg, just kind of cruising in there for an afternoon pod. Talking to some of the locals maybe.
Well, Carol bought a Palomino horse. And he was fixed. And I kind of feel bad for him, bud.
He's got sackless.
Well, it used to be last call for him everywhere he went all the time. But now he's, a little more low key. The
laughs aren't as loud and the craziness isn't as crazy.
No, it's like, please don't stop the music became James Taylor.
Yeah. It's like Bob Dylan when he said he stopped getting banged up and drinking. He said, I don't laugh as loud but I'm not as much of an asshole.
Kind of the trade-off.
It's the trade-off. You got to take the edge off both sides because one of them started getting too sharp.
Dang.
Hey? I think we got ourselves a wrapped up, wonderful TNT number 43.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I, as I said, have missed this, and I've missed chatting with you, and I feel like we had so much stuff to talk about that I feel like this was a good. We lanced the boil of built up topics, and then next week
Summer
we're
holidays.
full on Canada Day.
Yeah.
Next week's show, our 44, will be Canada Day. In the meantime, we have to think of a hashtag for why we should do an episode at your house or in your town.
Yep.
Because that'll be really fun.
Yeah, we can definitely maybe take submissions on why you think it would be great to have it at your house. Is it bod friendly? Taggart and Torrens at gmail.com. Email us your concepts, and we'll take a look at those. I mean, and obviously on Twitter.
What if the hashtag is "Come here, buds"?
Yeah.
That's all the reasons.
Come on over, buds, or come here, buds.
Yeah. Come on over, buds. That's pretty good.
Come on over, buds.
So it's hashtag "Come on over, buds," and tell us why we should come do a podcast at your house, at your shop, at your shack, at your cottage, at your chalet, at the camp.
Yep.
By the beach.
at your palatial bridle path estate with the bowling alley.
Somehow, I don't see that happening. Just a reminder, Tags and I are hosting Fred Rock Fest in Fredericton, July something else.
That's the 17th and 18th.
I was going to say 19th and 20th. It's
really?
Friday and Saturday, yeah. Hang on.
Or 18th and 19th, whatever the Friday and Saturday is.
It's the 17th and 18th. You were right. I owe you an apology.
Yes.
17th and 18th of July in Fredericton. Looking forward to meeting as many bods as we can. We'll have bod t-shirts and what have you. Oh, and the other thing is, we are working with our bod Derek. We're going to have an online store in the next couple of weeks, God willing. Your chance to get Salvatore t-shirts. And
some
bod
stickers.
t-shirts and bod stickers. And, I rock the cock
bod cozies.
Bod cozies. We should get some bod hats. Oh, and we're going to have bod hoodies, by the way. BA on one side of the zipper, HD on the other side.
Yes, those are swank.
Lots of things happening in the TNT universe. Thanks for your patience with us, folks. We're going to try to get back to the once a week potty, because that's what got us to the dance. And we're so happy to be here.
Yes, and we will continue that weekly dance. It is summer. It's been a summertime episode.
Love you, bud.
Love you, bud. Talk soon, bud.
I'm anyone you want me to be. I'm what you call a shit puppet.
Where's my beer chair?